Today on The Outline, we're going to be discussing Michelle Obama's DNC speech, Brandy versus her record label, monogamy versus open relationships. That's going to be a good one. And I even have some takeaway homework for our mental health moment. Stay tuned.
The Outline. With Kevin Dwayne. The Outline. With Kevin Dwayne. This is the Outline with Kevin Dwayne. Kevin Dwayne. Kevin Dwayne. With Kevin Dwayne.
Hey guys, it's Wednesday and it's another episode of The Outline. I need to start this show off with saying thank you. Thank you all so much for the kind words of encouragement you have sent me over the last week with the first episode. You all have subscribed. You guys have left reviews. I've seen people tweet quotes from me, send me pictures of them listening to it in their car. Like, it is the most amazing feeling to know that I made the right choice in this format and platform. So thank you so much for the support. Since last week, I want to let you know that The Outline is now available on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, Stitcher, and YouTube. I'm sure more will follow later, but I wanted to make sure I was on all the major platforms so that you can listen to it out of convenience. And this way, when you subscribe, all the episodes will come directly to your phone or whatever device that you're listening to me on. So isn't that great? I think so. If you haven't, please do me a favor. Go to iTunes specifically too. Rate the episodes, rate the podcast, leave comments, positive comments, please. Let's get that rank up first before y'all start bashing me. But please do that if you can. Give me a good old rating and just let me know what you think of the show. And I would greatly appreciate that. But thank you so much for listening in. This is so much fun to just get on this mic and just talk about things that are happening and just, it's a good moment. And I like that people are able to connect with me and feel like we're having a personal conversation. And I think that's awesome. So thank you so much. Words can't express how awesome you guys are. So this week is the Democratic National Convention. We especially needed this after the trash that was the Republican one, which was last week. Now, I don't know why they went ahead and let Michelle Obama come out on that first night because, listen, it was just a mic drop for her whole speech. Did you guys hear her speech? If not, please go to YouTube or wherever else and find it. It was great. It was empowering. And she just had some quotables for your ass. Like, it was so great. My favorite quotables from her speech were, speaking of her daughters, talking about the negative comments they see and just how people are just rude and racist and just crazy for no reason. She says, when they go low, we go high. That's it. You can't go down to people's level. And that's how I operate in my life. And I just thought that was a great, simple way of putting it. Another one that I loved is about the quality it takes to be a president. And I think this can also move into just being a responsible citizen. She said, you can't have thin skin or a tendency to lash out. You need to be steady and measured and well-informed. Is that not it though? Like, is that not it? How many people are out here lashing out? How many people are out here giving opinions that aren't informed? Out here, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're just working off of assumptions. And we're going to talk more about that when we get to the topic of monogamy and open relationships. We love to be ill-informed and also give strong opinions on shit we don't know nothing about, but we'll get there. And then the biggest one for me, and a lot of people apparently, was when she referred to the White House being built by slaves. And the quote is as follows: "That is the story of this country, the story that has brought me to the stage tonight, the story of generations of people who felt the lash of bondage, the shame of servitude, the sting of segregation, who kept on striving and hoping and doing what needed to be done. So that today I wake up every morning in a house that was built by slaves, and I watch my daughters, two beautiful, intelligent black young women, play with the dog on the White House lawn. And that just drives what the Obama legacy is. Like, we experienced the first black family in the White House for 8 years, and it's coming to a close. And that is just super sad. It's exhausting to know that it's over. I remember the night that he won, and I can't believe that was 8 years ago, and I cannot believe that it's almost over. And but things change, and they do need a break because he's taken on a heavy burden over the last 8 years. So I commend them, the first family. Kudos to Kelly Clarkson for checking a fan about his disdain for Michelle's part about the White House being built by slaves. I'll give you a little more information on it. So on Twitter, Kelly Clarkson was raving about being at the convention and being here for Hillary. And this guy by the name of Joshua, his handle was Coffee Beans Rock. He tweeted Kelly saying, "I'm not sure I like the part where she said the White House was built by slaves." Kelly sent him the most epic, shady response by saying, "Pretty certain the slaves that built it didn't like it either." And he ended up deleting the tweet, and his account's nowhere to be found. So I think he just deleted his entire social presence, and rightfully so, because stuff like that drives me crazy. It literally puts me back in the mindset of a teenager when I was in high school. I went to a predominantly white high school, and it was a cultural experience. It wasn't all bad. Like, I did enjoy aspects of going to that school, and I wouldn't lie about that. But I do remember microaggressions, and I do remember people just saying just the most ignorant things all the time, especially when it came to race. And it's just this ignorance of like, because it doesn't affect me, I'm not going to learn about it. Because I'm not black, I'm not going to even invest in black culture. And so to say something as stupid as that, like, oh, I didn't like the part where she said that the White House was built by slaves, so you don't like facts? Is that what you're saying? You don't like facts? And so many people are like that. Like, please be informed before you start giving out opinions. Like, real talk. Please just Google's free. It's not a pay site. There's no firewalls or anything like that. Like, literally, like, knowledge is free if you want it. And for you to just go and give this opinion because it makes you uncomfortable, that's another thing. I don't like the narrative that by bringing up race or bringing up our past, that it inherently makes the person who has been oppressed the oppressor. Like, it's the whole idea, well, you're the racist one because we've all moved on and you're the one bringing up race. That's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. And people were so concerned with being called racist that they won't confront, number one, their privilege, and the fact that they may have some microaggressive racist behavior. And we won't get anywhere. And I tell people, especially my white counterparts, I'm like, listen, if you're not going to acknowledge your privileges, this conversation can't go anywhere. Like, it's literally, that's it. Because I'm not here to teach you anything. That's not my job, but you will respect me. So, but until you're ready to recognize that there is an issue in this world, there's nothing to talk about, because we're just going to go back and forth and we're both going to be frustrated. And I'm probably going to end up being a stereotype and busting you upside your head. So yeah, let's just drop that. Shout out to Jared Hill, another friend of mine. When I tell you, I am so excited to know so many great people, and everyone is in their season. So Jared was the one who was the whistleblower on Melania Trump's speech, her jacking Michelle Obama's those two paragraphs. So he went from just, doing his thing with the interior design and doing his own thing. And now he's got jobs coming out of everywhere. So this week he is in Philadelphia at the DNC, and he is representing Blue Nation Review, which is just amazing. So shout out to Jared. I'm so proud of you, man. You're doing a great job. It's just, keep dreaming, people. Keep dreaming. Don't let go of anything. Just keep going. Things will pop off for you. But yeah, Michelle Obama, you're amazing. Barack Obama, you're amazing. I'm going to be super sad when you guys leave the White House. Can we get a talk show or something? That would be good. I think Michelle Obama should have a talk show. That would be amazing. And then Barack Obama can be her first guest, and then he can just go off about everything. Yeah, we need to get that in works. Let's make that happen. I mean, after a little break, you could take a little vacation first. That's fine, but we need more of you guys. Don't disappear on us, please. So, my girl, brand new B Rocka, Brandy, is in the headlines again. And not for what I want it to be, which is new music and an album, but such is life. I'm a huge Brandy fan. I love Brandy. That's my girl. Vocal Bible. That just, that's she's it. So she's having issues with her record label, reoccurring issues, because back in March she filed a lawsuit against Chameleon, her record label, and the president, Mr. Prescott. And she dropped it. It was for $1 million, and she was saying that they wouldn't, support her career, and they would let her come up with a second album unless she signed another contract that would end up being worse than what she was already in. And then that lawsuit disappeared. Well, this week she refiled it. So obviously there's still something in the water that isn't clean. And I just hope she's not shooting herself in the foot. Granted, it does sound like a terrible deal. So here's the deal. It's supposedly this. She had a deal that was supposed to be for like 5 albums. This was after she left her deal at Epic, which also was not a smart move. But I don't know the inner workings, so I'm going to mind my business. So she went to Chameleon. She dropped 211. Not much happened with 211, and we haven't had an album since, but there's supposed to be a total of 5, and there's been nothing. And then this year, out of nowhere, Begging and Pleading comes out. So we're like, oh, cool, Begging and Pleading, is there an album? Nope, no album. But then she goes on this Slayana tour, which is overseas. But I also noticed that it's on Slayana Records, so it's just her own record label and not Chameleon. So from what I understand, Chameleon wants her to re-sign a deal, which is a 360 deal, which is a terrible deal that most new artists end up on. And what it means is you have to give them part of the profits from everything that you do, which is the acting, the touring, merchandise, all of that stuff. It's not about the albums anymore, because albums really don't sell like that. So now record labels are trying to protect themselves. I call it the Drake effect, because Drake was the first one that I remember. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember he kind of changed the game. He did the whole mixtape thing, and he ended up getting a distribution deal, and he got to keep all of his, his publishing. And that's why he's like a boss right now, because he went the opposite way. He produced his own, he had people, friends, all 40, all them produce his music and stuff like that. So he was a packaged artist already, and then he ended up getting a distribution deal. More artists have followed this platform since then. I mean, actually, I think J. Cole may have done it before Drake. See, I'm getting it mixed up. Both of them did the mixtape thing, though. But J. Cole had a deal first, but then he released mixtapes until he got enough, buzz to release his album. So, whatever. But it changed the game of the record label. So now they have these whack-ass 360 deals, which really rob the artists. I mean, because you're giving your profit to the record label just for, shits and giggles. And so apparently, allegedly, they're trying to get her to reduce to that type of deal, and she doesn't want to do it. So she referred to it as being a slave. They were shady and unprofessional by saying she hasn't had a hit in a long time, even though those are kind of facts. And it's just all sad, because I've been wanting Brandy to win for so long. It's been over a decade now, and it's just not working out. Chicago was great. Her being on the game was great. Begging and Pleading is great. I enjoy every Brandy album, but nothing has been the same since Full Moon. Everything kind of went downhill in 2002. Like, it's just, she got her some dick and just let everything just fall to the wayside. And it's a common story. I mean, it happens to the best of us. But my personal opinion is she never should let Sonya go as a manager. Sonya had her back. I mean, her mom had her covered, like she handled all the business aspects and, made those decisions. I mean, hell, she should have had better birth control. Granted, this is her daughter's like, what, 14, 15 now? Like, listen, we're glad you're here and we love you. But like back then, it was kind of like, it just seemed like she just let everything go. And Full Moon was an amazing album. It could have had a way longer shelf life if they would have kept promoting it, but she made the right choices when it came to keeping her child. I'm not saying that was a mistake, but it was just the timing of it was all bad, and it just seems like it went downhill from there. We got Aphrodisiac, which was a good album, but I didn't buy Brandy as a sexual being. It just didn't work for me. It just didn't work when she was bent over on the Vibe cover, and just, it was too much. And then Human, that adult contemporary mess was just, I don't know, like I liked it vocally, but it wasn't what you expected from Brandy. And we've kind of had this thing happen over time, like throughout the years, and it's just like I just want her to win, like win. And it seems like every time she gets a really huge buzz, she doesn't take advantage of it at the right time. Like, I think when she was doing the Chicago, when she was like coming out and meeting all the fans after the shows and she had that huge buzz, she should have dropped the album right then and there. Or even when her show on BT, the Zoe show, when that dropped, there should have been an album. It's like she never capitalizes off of that buzz, and it's like she keeps getting all these chances and letting them go. So this lawsuit kind of makes me feel like it's another shot in the foot, and I wish her the best. I really do. I want Brandy to win. I really do, but it's exhausting. But stay tuned. We'll find out more later. And another thing that just popped up on my timeline that I saw like last night, Dr. Dre was arrested in front of his home, apparently for being a homeowner and not wanting people on his grass. I'm joking, kind of. But according to Pitchfork, I'm going to read this straight from Pitchfork. It says Dr. Dre was handcuffed and searched outside of his Malibu home in a road rage incident, according to TMZ. The report says that a man stopped his car in front of Dre's home, and when Dre asked the driver to move, the man obliged, but allegedly cursed at Dre while he did it. Dre pulled into his driveway while the driver continued to yell at him. The report continues. So Dre grabbed his phone to record the incident. According to TMZ sources, the man said, "Here we go again with another black guy with a gun." He has his fucking nerve, but whatever. When Dre reached for his phone, the man then allegedly called 911 to report someone with a gun. Upon arrival, sheriff's deputies reportedly handcuffed Dr. Dre and searched him, but they did not find a gun, so they released him. And so, let me tell you there's so many things that are fucked up with this whole story. Number one, you were on his property, and because this guy told you to move, you got upset. Now, you mean to tell me if you thought Dr. Dre really had a gun that your ass would have just stood there and called the police? No, motherfucker, you would have driven off and realized you fucked up. But no, you wanted to play this game, and they do not specify the race of the man. But I'm just gonna leave that alone. Fuck it. But just this whole situation was like, I just want to cause some trouble. I don't know if he wanted to do it because he was black or if he wanted to do it because he was a celebrity, but it's just stupid. You were on his property. He asked your whack ass to move, and you should have moved without being a dick about it. But then you're like, oh, another black guy with a gun. If he had a gun, your ass would have known that because it would have been in your fucking mouth, I'm sure. Like, and the fact that the police came and handcuffed him on his property and searched his home, did not find a gun, like, America. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Moving on. In 2006, Monique did an interview with Essence Magazine with Jill Scott. And in that interview, she revealed that she was in an open marriage with her husband, Sidney Hicks. There was an uproar then, and this is before social media was really popping off. I mean, we did have MySpace and Facebook, but not like it is today, and Twitter and all that stuff. But people had hateful comments. Oh, you must have low self-esteem. How can you let this man do this to you? What kind of woman of God would allow this? And people went hard on her, projecting their own shit ultimately on her decision with her husband. And come to find out, she was the one who came up with the idea because she had niggas she was trying to smash. She says, listen, we can be married. I love you, but I'm still trying to get this dick down the street, and I need you to be okay with it. So 10 years later, 2016, God, time is flying. She is still married to that man, so I think that's pretty successful. But they have a podcast called Monique and Sydney's Open Relationship, which is pretty clever that they called it that. In the first episode, they talk about, the details of that, and it was very informative, I thought. They were recently on the show The Preachers, and they discussed it on that show. So, of course, this was reposted on Facebook and everywhere else, and people are kind of going through the same rhetoric of not understanding and thinking, what's the point of it being in a relationship if you're going to do this and that, blah, 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 blah. People are still up in arms about it. So I posed this question: is monogamy one size fits all? And I'm going to give you my viewpoint on these type of things. Number one, if you are a monogamous person, find someone to be in a monogamous relationship with you. Someone that you know is going to be monogamous. Lay out your commitment and your rules and have communication. There's nothing wrong with that. However, that's not the only relationship style that people can have. We have to stop putting sexuality and relationships and people and everything into boxes. We are all complex individuals and we can do many things, many things. And it's so crazy that we can elevate our minds in so many other ways, but for some reason, we keep coming to a dead end with the same topics. So if you, want to be polygamous, if you want to have an open relationship, find someone that wants to have an open relationship. Lay out your ground rules and communicate. And I don't find anything wrong with either relationship style. I do believe there are people out there who are capable of being monogamous. And I do think there are people out there who are incapable of being monogamous. And I don't think there's anything wrong with either group of people, because also it's none of my business. It's not. I personally think that the real hurt of so-called cheating comes from the betrayal of it. They say that cheating starts before you even get to the bedroom, and it's true because you're going behind your partner's back to do things. So in that case, that's where monogamy has its cons, because you guys are committing to one another, but then someone steps out, they sneak behind your back, you find out, and now you're all in shambles. Whereas in an open relationship, all that should be laid out, and it usually is. And I have noticed that those relationships tend to last a little bit longer, the open relationships. The statistics show that monogamous relationships tend to end because of cheating and or money. And these are just facts. These are facts. I looked up some statistics before I started the show, and it is estimated that roughly 30% to 60% of all married individuals in the United States will engage in infidelity at some point during their marriage. And then also, since studies vary, research has shown that almost 60% of men and over 45% of women will cheat at some point in their marriages. Affairs affect 1 out of every 2.7 couples, which is almost 1/3 of all of the US. Like, the numbers don't lie. Even if you manipulate them a little bit, it's still out there. And I am so over the reality show narrative. Like, every show revolves around some married person being cheated on and going through the same thing, burning shit, being upset that their man is human and all that stuff. I knew that when Tina Campbell of Mary could get cheated on, it was a wrap. Like, you're like, listen, this is something that we're ignoring. And as I said before, people are capable of being monogamous. I'm not saying that. But at the same time, I just don't think people are being super realistic at what is possible, if that makes sense. We keep applying this fairy tale to our lives, and then we get hurt in the end. So go into your relationship being monogamous. That's fine. And commit to that. I don't think anybody should break a commitment. Like, if you I totally agree with the whole idea. Don't get married if you're not going to honor your vows. But I also believe that it's not cheating if it's not in your vows. So basically, to those monogamous people who try to clown the open relationship people saying, oh, that's cheating. What's the point? Well, guess what? If they've laid out their own ground rules for their relationship and it's not called cheating, it's not cheating because they have an agreement of what they're doing in their relationship. Society, people in society have this delusional outlook that you need approval from others to make your relationship successful, and you don't. If you have an agreement with another person, that's all you need. We have to stop seeking outside approval for what we do inside of our relationships. So if you decide to be monogamous, cool. You don't have to tell nobody. If you decide to be open, cool. You don't have to tell nobody. And if you do, don't allow them to disrespect you or try to devalue what you have in your relationship. Because the numbers show that the open relationships are actually doing a little bit better than the monogamous ones because there's an understanding. Hell, one of the, like, what was it, Will and Jada, they don't openly talk about it. They've alluded to it. But the idea is that they've had an open relationship. Been together for years. Cool. Monique and Sydney, been together 10 years. Cool. Meanwhile, you have everybody else divorcing every 5 minutes because they can't keep it together because they feel betrayed and all this stuff. And I don't think it's so much because they're not in an open relationship. It's because their communication isn't open. I believe that if you're afraid to talk to your partner about everything, you're going to run into some issues. And that's just that. But I do believe monogamy is possible. I just don't think it fits everybody's way of life. And we need to stop putting things into boxes. A particular story comes to mind for me. I was having like a late lunch with somebody, and we're just talking about relationships. And I mentioned that I was like, in my next relationship, I want my partner to be like super honest with me. Like, if they're attracted to somebody, they can tell me. If, if they feel like they need to step out, I want them to tell me. And you can see the person that was sitting across from me start to tense up and like literally just started getting like uncomfortable with my viewpoint. And I'm like, I thought it was weird because I'm like, why the hell do you care about what I want in my relationship? Mind you, this was not a date. It was not a date. We were just hanging out. So I was like, it's not like I'm telling you I want that from you. But you could just see the uncomfortable feeling. And I remember he was just like, maybe I'm just insecure, but I don't want to know if my partner is into somebody else or wants to be with. I don't want to know all that. I don't want to know all that. They need to keep that to themselves. They need to show some respect. I'm like, I don't think it's disrespectful. I don't think it's disrespectful. It's honesty. I mean, there's certain ways you go about things. I don't want you just going out like, oh damn, look at that. Oh, that ass is fat. It's fatter than yours. Or oh damn, I wish you did. No, not like that. But if you're attracted to somebody, that's okay. Like, we are mammals, okay? We are humans, and yes, we have elevated minds and we can do great things. But at the same time, I am so exhausted by the idea that if you get with somebody, they're all of a sudden going to lose their desires for everything and everybody else, and it's all about you. It's fucking not. It's not. Let me go ahead and bust that bubble for you. It's not about you. They chose you. I'll say that. They chose you. They love you. They'll do anything for you, but they make that decision every day, and they love you. Accept that. That's fine. But do not be naive and think that literally like, oh, you're the apple of their eye forever and ever. Amen. No, it doesn't work that way. For some it does. Maybe. Cool. That's fine. But don't chase the ideal. Just be realistic. Be realistic. That's all I'm saying. But anything can work. Just stay in your realm. Just a little bit of advice. If you want to be in a monogamous relationship, find somebody who's monogamous. Stop chasing after these players, people that been around everybody and is known for being playboys. Some of y'all want to try to, get them to commit to you because you think it's a game, and then you end up getting hurt. No, don't do that. Fine, go to your church or wherever you're gonna go. Find you someone who wants that. There are a lot of people out there. I know so many people who want monogamous relationships, and there are a lot of people who want open relationships, and they're afraid to admit it. And you got to almost pull that shit out of them. But at the end of the day, the thing that's important is communication. Regardless of what style you choose with your mate, you need to talk. You can't have anything that that can't be talked about in your relationship. That's not going to work. You have to be able to talk about everything. And another point, because I'm also tired of this narrative, especially in reality shows. All right, so this can work in any situation, male, female, male, male, female, female, whatever. You can't just be putting it on your person before y'all commit to each other. You know, y'all having sex all the time, doing all this whole thing. Then when you finally, seal the deal, get together, be together. It doesn't have to be marriage, but just, decide to be one-on-one. You can't then pull all of that back, start treating them like shit, nagging, being human, just being super, super crazy, not putting out all of that shit. You know what I'm talking about, where you just pull all the way back. And then double dare them to cheat on you. I see this happen so much. People, they're going hot and heavy at first. Everything's good. Everything's dope. We got that honeymoon period. You start arguing and shit. But then they start being mean to their partners, start bossing them around, stop having sex with them, stop doing all this stuff. And then if something happens, they play victim. And it's like, take your part in what you did to get to this place. Like, real talk. Figure out, everybody is responsible. The cheater and the person that got cheated on. There's something that happened there. And sometimes it's not even about you. Sometimes it's about getting a nut off. And that's real. But that's for you monogamous people, And that's what I'm like for me, would I be in a monogamous relationship? Yes. Would I be in an open relationship? Yes. All I require is communication. That's all I want. My next relationship, I just wanted everything to be on the table. I want to talk about everything. I want to talk about desires, but I understand what it is to be male. I understand what it is to be, have temptation. I know what it is like to live in flesh. And so I have an understanding of that. And that's not to say that females don't have that either. So let me recant that last statement. I know what it's like to be human. I know what it's like. So it's like, I just want communication, because the real betrayal happens when things are done behind your back. That's what hurts. It's not the sex. I can be okay with somebody smashing somebody else because there's so many other things that you can lose outside of sex. I mean, I like companionship. I like the benefits of a relationship, the connection. There's so many other things that people forget about because they're too busy thinking about where their partner's putting their body parts. And I think you lose sight of that and you assume. Not to mention, open people actually aren't out here having orgies and swinging like you think they are. I know a couple couples who are in open relationships and they haven't even acted on it. Been together for years. I think what it is sometimes it's a thrill of the chase. I talked to another friend about that. Sometimes it's just the idea that you're doing something sneaky, but once you have permission, you don't even want to do it. So imagine that. Some people do act on it, but it's understood. And it's just because the communication is there. And I think it brings you closer knowing that you have someone who is willing to take it there with you. It's just not anything to be afraid of. So just something to think about. Don't trip. Like, if you want to be monogamous, be monogamous. If you want to be open. But don't allow the world or people outside of your relationship to dictate what you do to make you and your partner comfortable. And that's all I have to say about that. So this week, for our mental health moment, I want to talk about affirmations. Affirmation is pretty much a statement that you use to encourage yourself or uplift yourself, affirm yourself. You can say it at any time during the day. You can say it in the morning before you start. You can do it at the beginning of the week, however you want to do it. And so my homework for you guys is to find an affirmation online. Just look them up. They're everywhere. And I want you to say it every morning until the next podcast. And I also want to know how it worked for you, if it changed anything, and if it changed your energy and started your day right. If you want, you can write your own affirmation. And, if you're advanced, I know some of my listeners are advanced, write your own affirmation of what you want to achieve and what you think of yourself and just something positive. I'm going to read to you one that I wrote for myself a while ago that I kind of use as a go-to. I wrote this as kind of a all-encompassing thing of what I want to achieve. And it goes like this. It is a new day of affirmation and manifestation. Today I love myself completely, unconditionally, and unyieldingly as I am. I forgive myself of any wrongdoing and ease all resentment. I recognize and will continue to cultivate my worth and value. I understand that I am one of a kind and that is my gift. I have purpose. I have something others need. I am capable of all things. I am focused, driven, and successful. Today, I welcome positivity, good health, and joy. I am open, available, and accepting of all forms of love from friends, family, and intimate partners. I will encounter new opportunities and continue to rise emotionally, physically, mentally, and financially. I will continue to live my one life to the fullest extent. I will thrive. So yeah, that's just something that I use to kind of get me through the days and the weeks. It covers everything. If you want, you're more than welcome to use that one. I'll post it on Instagram for you. But that's that. That is your project. Do a affirmation every day and just see how you feel and let me know how it goes. Send your responses to the outline topics at gmail.com, or you can at me on Twitter, the world of Kevin. Thank you guys so much. We've gotten through another show, another podcast. This is so exciting. Thank you so much for subscribing. Please go and subscribe if you haven't. Also, make sure you leave your comments on iTunes and Google Play and leave your rating so we can get up in the ranks, make this an awesome experience. And I will talk to you guys next week. Please share it with your friends as well. Thank you so much. And yeah, that's out. Have a good week.